Vandeyam Shri Guru Shri Yathabharakamalam Shri Gurun Vaishnavamscha Shri Rupam Sagrajatam Saganaraganatam Vitam Tam Sajivam Sadvaitam Savadutam Parijana Saitam Krishna Chaitanya Devam Shri Radha Krishna Paran Sahagana Lalita Shivishakam Vitamscha Om Jnana Timrandasha Gyanajana Shalakaya Chakshurumitam Yena Tasma Shri Gurave Namah Gurva Bhistam Supurkam Gurganara Sisha Sambhushitam Chintya Chintya Samasta Vedanipunam Shri Rupa Patanagam Govinda Abhidam Ujwalam Varatanam Bhaktiyan Vidam Sundaram Mande Vishwaguruncha Divyat Bhagavat Prem Noe Bija Pranam Devam Divyatanam Suchandavaranam Balarka Chelanchitam Sandrananda Puram Sadekavaranam Vairagya Vidyam Bodhim Sri Siddhanta Nidhim Subhakti Lasitam Saraswatanam Baram Banditam Shubharam Mareka Sharanam Nyashishvara Sridharam Manchakopatarubhyas Chakripa Sindhubhyevaja Patitanam Pavenibhyo Vaishnavebhyo Namo Namah Namo Mahamaranyaya Krishna Prema Pranayate Krishnaya Krishna Chaitanya Namane Gauratavishe Namah. So we're hearing from Sri Chaitanya Charitamrita by Srila Krishnadas Kaviraj Goswami, translation and commentary by Srila Bhaktivedanta Swami Prabhupad. This is Adi-lila, chapter 13, the advent of Lord Sri Chaitanya Mahaprabhu. Sa prasidatu Chaitanya Devo Yasha Prasadataha Adi-lila Varnane Yogya Sadya Shad Aramopiyam Sadya Shad Aramopi Ayam. I wish the grace of Lord Chaitanya Mahaprabhu, by whose mercy even one who has fallen can describe the pastimes of the Lord. To describe Sri Chaitanya Mahaprabhu, or Lord Sri Krishna, one needs supernatural power, which is the grace and mercy of the Lord. Without this grace and mercy, one cannot compose transcendental literature. By dint of the grace of the Lord, however, even one who is unfit for a literary career can describe wonderful transcendental topics. Description of Krishna is possible for one who is empowered. Krishna Shakti Vina Nahe Tara Pravartan. Unless endowed with the mercy of the Lord, one cannot preach of the Lord's name, fame, qualities, form, entourage, and so on. It should be concluded, therefore, that the writing of Sri Chaitanya Charitamrita by Krishnadas Kaviraj Goswami manifests specific mercy bestowed upon the author, although he thought of himself as the most fallen. We should not consider him fallen because he describes himself as such. Rather, anyone who is able to compose such transcendental literature is our esteemed master. Jaya Jaya Shri Krishna Chaitanya Gaurachandra Jaya Dvaita Chandra Jaya Jaya Nityananda. All glories to Sri Chaitanya Mahaprabhu, all glories to Advaita Chandra, all glories to Lord Nityananda Prabhu. Jaya Jaya Ganadhar Jaya Srinivas Jaya Mukunda Vasudeva Jaya Haridas. All glories to Gadadhar Prabhu, all glories to Srivats Thakur, all glories to Mukunda Prabhu and Vasudeva Prabhu, all glories to Haridas Thakur. Jaya Damodara Swarup, Jaya Murari Gupta, Esab Chandrodoye, Tama Koila Lupta, all glories to Swarup Damodar and Murari Gupta. All these brilliant moons have together dissipated the darkness of this material world. Jaya Sri Chaitanya Chandra Bhakta Chandragan Sabar Prema Jochnaya Ujjwala Tribhuvan. All glories to the moons who are devotees of the principal moon, Lord Chaitanya Chandra. Their bright moonshine illuminates the entire universe. In this verse, we find the moon described as Chaitanya, as Chandragan, which is plural in number. This indicates that there are many moons. In the Bhagavad Gita, the Lord says, Nakshatranam aham shakshi. Among the stars I am the moon. All the stars are like the moon. Western astronomers consider the stars to be suns, but Vedic astronomers following the Vedic scriptures consider them moon. All right, consider them moons. I'm good. Eta kohila granta rambe mukhabanda ebe kohe chaitanya lila krama anubanda. Thus I have spoken the preface of the Chaitanya Charitamrita. Now I shall describe Chaitanya Mahaprabhu's pastimes in chronological order. Pratameta sutra rupe koreyeganan pachetaha vistari koreba vivaran. First, let me give a synopsis of the Lord's pastimes. Then I shall describe them in detail. Sri Krishna Chaitanya Navadipe Avatari Atta Chalisha Vatsara Prakata Bihari. Lord Sri Chaitanya Mahaprabhu, adventing himself in Navadip, was visible for 48 years, enjoying his pastimes. Choda Shata Shata Shake Janmera Praman Choda Shata Panchane Hoila Antardan. In the year 1407 of the Shaka era, AD 1486, so that's 1486, Lord Sri Chaitanya Mahaprabhu appeared, and in the year 1455, which is AD 1534, he disappeared from this world. So appeared in 1486 and disappeared in 1534. Shabisha Vatsara Prabhu, Koila Grihabas, Nirantara Koila Krishna Kirtana Vilas. For 24 years, Lord Chaitanya lived in the Grihastha Ashram, household life, always engaging in the pastimes of the Hare Krishna movement. Chabish Vatsara Sheshe Koreya Sanyas, Ara Chabisha Vatsara Koila Nila Chalibas. After 24 years, he accepted the renounced order of life, sannyas, and he resided for 24 years more at Jagannath Puri. Taramadya Jaya Vatsara, Gamana Gaman, Kabu Dakina, Kabu Goda, Kabu Brindavan. Of these 24 years, he spent the first 6 continually touring India, sometimes in South India, sometimes in Bengal, and sometimes in Vrindavan. Ashtadasha Vatsara Rahila Nilachale Krishna Prema Namamrite Bashala Sakale. For the remaining 18 years, he continuously stayed in Jagannath Puri. Chanting the nectarian Hare Krishna Maha mantra, he inundated everyone there in a flood of love of Krishna. Garhasje Prabhura Lila Aril Lila Kyan Madhya Anja Lila Sesha Lila Raduinam. The pastimes of his household life are known as the Adi-lila, or the original pastimes. His later pastimes are known as the Madhya-lila and Antya-lila, or the middle and final pastimes. Adi-lila Madhya Prabhur Jatika Charita Sutra Rupe Murari Gupta Korila Gratita. All the pastimes enacted by Lord Chaitanya Mahaprabhu in his Adi-lila were recorded in summary form by Murari Gupta. Prabhu Jay Sesha Lila Swarup Damodar Sutra Kore Granti Lena Grantera Bitar. His later pastimes, the Madhya Lila and Antya Lila, were recorded in the form of notes by his secretary, Swarup Damodar Goswami, and thus kept within a book. Edui Chaner Sutra Dekiya Shunya Varnana Korena Vaishnava Kramaje Korea. By seeing and hearing the notes recorded by these two great personalities, a Vaishnava, a devotee of the Lord, can know these pastimes one after another. Balya Poganda Kaishora Jovana Charibed Ateva Adikande Lila Charibed. In his original pastimes, there are 4 divisions: Balya, Poganda, Kaishora, and Yovana. Childhood, early boyhood, later boyhood, and youth. Sarvashad Guna Purnam Tam Bande Falguna Purnimam Yashyam Shri Krishna Chaitanya Vatirna Krishna Namabi. I offer my respectful obeisances unto the full moon evening in the month of Falgun, an auspicious time full of auspicious symptoms, when Lord Sri Chaitanya Mahaprabhu advented himself with the chanting of the holy name, Hare Krishna. Falguna Purnima Sanjaya Prabhura Janmadoi. Falguna Purnima Sanjaya Prabhura Janmodoi. Sekale Daiva Joge Chandra Grahan Hoy. On the full moon evening of the month of Falgun, when the Lord took birth, coincidentally, there was also a lunar eclipse. Hari Hari Bole Lok, Harashita Haya, Janmila Chaitanya Prabhu Nama Janmaya. In jubilation, everyone was chanting the holy name of the Lord, Hari Hari. And Lord Sri Chaitanya Mahaprabhu then appeared after first causing the appearance of the holy name. Janma Bhaya Poganda Kaishora Juva Kale Harinama Lao Jaila Prabhu Nanachale. At his birth, in his childhood, and in his early and later boyhood, as well as his youth, Lord Chaitanya Mahaprabhu, under different pleas, induced people to chant the holy name of Hari, the Hare Krishna Maha Mantra. Balya Bhava Chale Prabhu Korana Krandan, Krishna Hari Nama Shuni Rohaye Rodan. In his childhood, when the Lord was crying, he would stop immediately upon hearing the holy names, Krishna and Hari. Ateva Hari Hari Bole Narigan, Dekite Aishi Jeva Sarva Bandhujan. All the friendly ladies who came to see the child would chant the holy names, Hari, Hari, as soon as the child would cry. Gora Hari Bole Tare, Hase Sarvanari, Ateva Hoila Tare, Nama Gora Hari. When all the ladies saw this fun, they enjoyed laughing and called the Lord Gora Hari. From then on, Gora Hari became another of his names. Balyamaya Javat Hate Adi-lila Poganda Vayasa Javat Vivahana Koila. His childhood lasted until the date of Hati Kadi, the beginning of his education, and his age from the end of his childhood until he married is called Poganda. So Hati Kadi is when child's studies begin. And they give him some chalk, and then he starts learning how to write all the different letters of the alphabet and consonants, which in Bengali is combined letters. Vivaha korile hoila navina jovan sarvatra lao jaila prabhu nama sankirtan. After his marriage, his youth begun, and in his youth he induced everyone to chant the Hare Krishna Maha Mantra anywhere and everywhere. Pogandabaya se parin parana sishyagane sarvatra korana Krishna namara vyakyane. During his Poganda age, he became a serious student and also taught disciples. In this way, he used to explain the holy name of Krishna everywhere. Sutra Britti Panji Tika Krishnete Tatparya Sishyara Pratita Hoy Prabhava Ascharya. When teaching a course in grammar, Vyakaran, and explaining it with notes, Sri Chaitanya Mahaprabhu taught his disciples about the glories of Lord Krishna. All explanations culminated in Krishna, and his disciples would understand them very easily. Thus his influence was wonderful. Srila Jiva Goswami compiled a grammar in two parts named Lagu Hari Namamrita Vyakaran and Brihadari Namamrita Vyakaran. If someone studies these two texts in Vyakaran or grammar, he learns the grammatical rules of the Sanskrit language and simultaneously learns how to become a great devotee of Lord Krishna. In the Chaitanya Bhagavat Madhyakanda, there is a statement about the method by which Lord Sri Chaitanya Mahaprabhu taught grammar. Lord Chaitanya Mahaprabhu explained the aphorisms of grammar to be eternal, like the holy name of Krishna. As stated in Bhagavad Gita, Vedaischa sarvairaham eva vedya. The purport of all revealed scriptures is understanding of Krishna. Therefore, if a person explains anything that is not Krishna, he simply wastes his time, laboring hard without fulfilling the aim of his life. And if one simply becomes a teacher or professor of education but does not understand Krishna, it is to be understood that he is among the lowest of mankind, as stated in the Bhagavad Gita. Naradama Mayaya Paritagyana. If one does not know the essence of all revealed scriptures but still becomes a teacher, his teaching is like the disturbing braying of an ass. Charideki tariko he koha Krishnanam Krishnaname Bashaila Nabadipagram Jarideki tariko he koha Krishnanam Krishnaname Bashaila Nabadipagram. When Lord Sri Chaitanya Mahaprabhu was a student, he asked whomever he met to chant the Hare Krishna Maha Mantra. In this way, he inundated the whole town of Navadip with the chanting of Hare Krishna. The present Navadip Dham is but a part of the whole of Navadip. Navadip means 9 islands. These 9 islands, which occupy an area of land estimated at 32 square miles, are surrounded by different branches of the Ganges. In all 9 of these islands of the Navadip area, there are different places for cultivating devotional service. It is stated in Srimad Bhagavatam that there are Navabhida Bhakti, 9 different activities of devotional service. Shravanam, Kirtanam, Vishnu, Smaranam, Parasevanam, Archanam, Bandhanam, Dasham, Sakyam, Atmanivedanam. There are different islands in the Navadip area for cultivation of these 9 varieties of devotional service. They are as follows: Antardvip, Simantadvip, Godrumadvip, Madhyadvip, Kuladvip, Ritudvip, Janudvip, Modadrumadvip, and Rudradvip. According to the settlement map, our ISKCON Navadip Center is situated in the Rudradvip Island. Below Rudradvip and Antardvip is Mayapur. There, Sri Jagannath Mishra, the father of Chaitanya Mahaprabhu, used to reside. In all these different islands, Lord Chaitanya Mahaprabhu, as a young man, used to lead his Sankirtan party. He thus inundated the entire area with the waves of love of Krishna. Kishorabaya se Arambila Sankirtan, Ratradine Preminritya Sange Bhaktagan. Just prior to his youthful life, he began the Sankirtan movement. Day and night he used to dance in ecstasy with his devotees. Nagare Nagare Brahme Kirtana Koriya, Bashaila Tribhuvana Prema Bhakti Diya. The Sankirtan movement went on from one part of the town to another as the Lord wandered everywhere performing kirtan. In this way, he inundated the whole world by distributing love of Godhead. Chabisha Vatsarai Che Navadipa Grame Lao Jaila Sarvaloke Krishna Premaname. Lord Chaitanya lived in Navadip area for 24 years, and he induced every person to chant the Hare Krishna Maha Mantra and thus merge in love of Krishna. Chabisha Vatsara Chila Koriya Sanyas Bhaktagan Loya Koila Nila Chalebas. For his remaining 24 years, Sri Chaitanya Mahaprabhu, after accepting the renounced order of life, stayed at Jagannath Puri with his devotees. Taramadya Nila Chale Chai Batsar Nritya Gita Prema Bhakti Dana Nirantar. For six of these 24 years in Nilachala, Jagannath Puri, he distributed love of Godhead by always chanting and dancing. Setubanda Ara Goda Vyapi Vrindavan Premanama Prachariya Korila Brahman. Beginning from Cape Comorin and extending through Bengal to Vrindavan. During these 6 years, he toured all of India, chanting, dancing, and distributing love of Krishna. E Madhya Lilanam Lila Mukyadam Sesha Ashtadasha Varsha Anjalilanam. The activities of Lord Chaitanya Mahaprabhu in his travels after he accepted sannyas are his principal pastimes. His activities during his remaining 18 years are called the Adi-lila, or the final portion of his pastimes. So the principal portion is those 6 years of Madhyadweep. Taramadhya Chai Vatsara Bhaktagana Sange Prema Bhakti Lal Jailan Rityagita Range. For 6 of the 18 years, he continuously stayed in Jagannath Puri. He regularly performed kirtan, inducing all the devotees to love Krishna simply by chanting and dancing. Jai Haribol. Dvadasha Vatsara Sesha Rohila Nilanchale Prema Vashta Shikaila Ashwadana Chale. For the remaining 12 years, he stayed in Jagannath Puri. He taught everyone how to taste the transcendental mellow ecstasy of love of Krishna by tasting it himself. A person who is advanced in Krishna consciousness always feels separation from Krishna, because such a feeling of separation excels the feeling of meeting Krishna. Sri Chaitanya Mahaprabhu, in his last 12 years of existence within this world at Jagannath Puri, taught the people of the world how with a feeling of separation one can develop his dormant love of Krishna. Such feelings of separation or meeting with Krishna are different stages of love of Godhead. These feelings develop in time when a person seriously engages in devotional service. The highest stage is called Prema Bhakti, but this stage is attained by executing sadhana bhakti. One should not try to elevate himself artificially to the stage of Prema Bhakti without seriously following the regulative principles of sadhana bhakti. Prema Bhakti is the stage of relishing, whereas sadhana bhakti is the stage of improving in devotional service. Sri Chaitanya Mahaprabhu taught this cult of devotional service in full detail by practical application in his own life. It is said, therefore, Apaniya Chari Bhakti Shikaimu Sabare. Sri Chaitanya Mahaprabhu is Krishna himself, and in the role of a Krishna Bhakta, a devotee of Krishna, he instructed the entire world how one can execute devotional service and thus go back home, back to God in due course of time. Ratre Divase Krishna Viraha Sfuran Unmadera Cheshta Kore Pralapa Vachan. Day and night, Lord Chaitanya Mahaprabhu felt separation from Krishna, manifesting symptoms of this separation. He cried and talked very inconsistently like a madman. Shri Radhara Pralap Jaiche Udavadarshane Sehmata Unmara Pralapa Kore Ratridine. As Srimati Radharani talked inconsistently when she met Uddhava, so also Sri Chaitanya Mahaprabhu relished both day and night such ecstatic talk in the mood of Srimati Radharani. In this connection, one should refer to Srimati Radharani's soliloquy after meeting Uddhava in Vrindavan. Sri Chaitanya Mahaprabhu presented a similar picture of such ecstatic imaginary talking, full of jealousy and madness, symptomizing neglect by Krishna. Srimati Radharani, criticizing a bumblebee, talked like a madwoman. Sri Chaitanya Mahaprabhu in the last days of his pastimes exhibited all the symptoms of such ecstasy. In this connection, one should refer to the 4th chapter of the Adi-lila, verses 107 and 108. Okay. Vidyapati Jayadeva Chandida Saragita Ashwadena Ramananda Swarup Sahita. The Lord used to read the books of Vidyapati, Jayadeva, and Chandidas, relishing their songs with his confidential associates like Sri Ramananda Roy and Swarup Damodar Goswami. Vidyapati was a famous composer of songs about the pastimes of Radha Krishna. He was an inhabitant of Mithila, born in a Brahmin family. It is calculated that he composed his songs during the reign of King Shiva Sima and Queen Lachima Devi. In the beginning of the 14th century, the Shaka era, almost 100 years before the appearance of Lord Chaitanya Mahaprabhu. Jayadev was born during the reign of Maharaj Lakshman Sen of Bengal in the 11th or 12th century of the Shaka era. He passed the last days of his life in Jagannath Puri. One of his famous books is Gita Govinda, which is full of transcendental mellow feelings of separation from Krishna. Chandidas was born in the village of Nanora, which is also in the Birbhum district of Bengal. He was born of a Brahmin family, and it is said that he also took birth in the beginning of the 14th century Shakabda era. Sri Bhaktisiddhanta Saraswati Thakur comments that such feelings of separation as Lord Chaitanya enjoyed from the books of Vidyapati, Chandidas, and Jayadev are especially reserved for persons like Sri Ramananda Roy and Swarup Damodar, who were Paramahamsas, men of the topmost perfection, because of their advanced spiritual consciousness. Such topics are not to be discussed by ordinary persons imitating the activities of Lord Chaitanya Mahaprabhu. For critical students of mundane poetry and literary men without God consciousness or after bodily sense gratification, there is no need to read such a high standard of transcendental literature. Persons who are after sense gratification should not try to imitate Raganuga devotional service. The songs of Chandidas, Vidyapati, and Jayadev describe the transcendental activities of the Supreme Personality of Godhead. Mundane reviewers of these songs simply help people in general become debauchees, and this leads only to social scandals and atheism in the world. One should not misunderstand the pastimes of Radha and Krishna to be the activities of a mundane young boy and girl. The mundane sexual activities of young boys and girls are most abominable. Therefore, those who are in bodily consciousness and who desire sense gratification are forbidden to indulge in discussions of the transcendental pastimes of Sri Radha and Krishna. This is a warning. It's meant so that people won't go searching after the literature of Vidyapati, Jayadev, and Chandidas. Most of the literature that has the name anyway of Vidyapati and Chandidas is not the original literature or not properly presented, and Mahaprabhu could relish these things because of his divine positions, but other people will not be able to derive benefit, and most of these literatures are not even preserved. So anyway, I'll continue. Krishnara viyoge jata prema cheshtita ashwadiya purna koila apana banshita. And why am I saying this? Because there's a saying, fools rush in where angels fear to tread. So that's what is being stated about this literature. Krishnara viyoge jata prema chestita ashwadiya purna koila apana banshita. In separation from Krishna, Sri Chaitanya Mahaprabhu relished all these ecstatic activities, and thus he fulfilled his own desires. In the beginning of the Chaitanya Charitamrita, it is said that Lord Chaitanya Mahaprabhu appeared in order to taste the feelings Radharani felt upon seeing Krishna. Krishna himself could not understand the ecstatic feelings of Radharani toward him, and therefore he desired to accept the role of Radharani and thereby taste these feelings. Lord Chaitanya is Krishna with the feelings of Radharani. In other words, he is a combination of Radha and Krishna. And it is therefore said, Sri Krishna Chaitanya Radha Krishna Nahiyanya. By worshipping Sri Chaitanya Mahaprabhu alone, one can relish the loving affairs of Radha and Krishna together. One should therefore try to understand Radha and Krishna not directly, but through Sri Chaitanya Mahaprabhu and through his devotees. Srila Narottam Das Thakur therefore says, Rupa Raghunath Padi Hoibe Akuti Kabe Hama Bujaba Se Jugala Piriti. When shall I develop a mentality of service toward Sri Rupa Goswami, Sanatana Goswami, Raghunath Das Goswami, and the other devotees of Lord Chaitanya, and thus become eligible to understand the pastimes of Sri Radha and Krishna? Ananta Chaitanya Lila Kudra Jiva Hoya Ke Barnite Pare Taha Bistara Korea. The pastimes of Lord Chaitanya Mahaprabhu are unlimited. How much can a small living entity elaborate about those transcendental pastimes? Sutra Korigane Jadi Apaneyananta Sahasra Badane Teho Nahi Pai Anta. If Seshanaga Ananta personally were to make the pastimes of Lord Chaitanya into sutras or into verses, even with his thousands of mouths, there is no possibility that he could find their limit. Damodara Swarup Ara Gupta Murari Mukya Lila Sutre Likijache Vichari. Devotees like Sri Swarup Damodar and Murari Gupta have recorded all the principal pastimes of Lord Chaitanya in the form of notes after deliberate consideration. Se Anusare Liki Lila Sutragan Bistari Varnijachen Tahadasha Brindavan. The notes kept by Sri Swarup Damodar and Murari Gupta are the basis of this book. Following these notes, I write of all the pastimes of the Lord. The notes have been described elaborately by Vrindavan Das Thakur. Chaitanya Lilaram Vyasa Dasha Brindavan Madhura Korea Lila Korila Rachan. Srila Vrindavan Das Thakur, the authorized writer of the pastimes of Sri Chaitanya Mahaprabhu, is as good as Srila Vyasadeva. He has described the pastimes in such a way as to make them sweeter and sweeter. Granta Vistarabaye Chadila Jay Stan Se Stani Kichu Koriva Vyakyan. Being afraid of his books becoming too voluminous, he left some places without vivid descriptions. I shall try to fill those places as far as possible. Prabhura Lilamrita Teho Koila Ashvadan Tara Bhukta Seshakichu Koraye Charvan. The transcendental pastimes of Lord Chaitanya have actually been relished by Srila Vrindavan Das Thakur. I am simply trying to chew the remnants of food left by him. Prasadam. Adi-lila Sutra Liki Shuna Bhaktagan Sankepi Liki Samyak Najai Likan. My dear devotees of Lord Chaitanya, let me now write a synopsis of the Adi-lila. I write of these pastimes in brief because it is not possible to describe them in full. Konabansha Purana Lagi Brajendra Kumar Avatirno Hoite Mane Korila Bichar. To fulfill a particular desire within his mind, Lord Krishna, Brajendra Kumar, decided to descend to this planet after mature contemplation. Age avatari la jai jai guru parivar sankepe kohiye kaha na jai bistar. Lord Krishna therefore first allowed this family of superiors to descend to the earth. I shall try to describe them in brief because it is not possible to describe them fully. Sri Sachi Jagannatha Sri Madhavapuri Keshavaratiara Sri Ishwarapuri Advaita Charyara Pandita Sribas Acharya Ratna Vidyanidhi Thakura Haridas. Lord Sri Krishna, before appearing as Lord Chaitanya Mahaprabhu, requested these devotees to precede him. Sri Sachi Devi, Jagannath Mishra, Madhavendra Puri, Keshav Bharati, Ishwara Puri, Advaita Charya, Srivas Pandit, Acharya Ratna, Vidyanidhi, and Thakur Haridas. Sri Hatha Nivase, Sri Upendra Mishra Nam, Vaishnava Pandita Danis, Sadguna Pradhan. There was also Sri Upendra Mishra, a resident of the district of Srihata. He was a great devotee of Lord Vishnu, a learned scholar, a rich man, and a reservoir of all good qualities. That's Sri Upendra Mishra. Sapta Mishra Tara Putra Sapta Rishibar Kamsare Paramananda Padmanabha Sarveshwar Jagannath Janardan Trilokyanath Nadijate Gangabas Koila Jagannath. Upendra Mishra had 7 sons who were all saintly and most influential. 1. Kamsari, 2. Paramananda, 3. Padmanabha, 4. Sarveshwar, 5. Jagannath, 6. Janardan, and 7. Trilokyanath. Jagannath Mishra, the 5th son, decided to reside on the bank of the Ganges at Nadia. Jagannath Mishra Bar Padavi Puranandar. Jagannath Mishra Bar Padavi Purandar Nanda Masudeva Rupa Sadguna Sagar. Jagannath Mishra was designated as Purandar. Exactly like Nanda Maharaj and Vasudeva, he was the notion of all good qualities. So is this the first real rainy day we've had?
It rained a few times, but this is definitely, I think, the biggest of the year, right?
Nice.
Longest raining.
I remember one year it was raining like this, and one tree going towards Soquel Road, Soquel Avenue. A tree, a couple of houses down fell, and then a tree going the other way fell. So it was, I think it was like Srila Govinda Maharaj's appearance day. And it was impossible for anyone to get here from either direction.
2016?
Something like that. But some people came even though trees were falling. Tara Patni Sachinama Patibrata Sali. No. Tarapatni Sachinama Pati Brata Sati Jarapita Nilambara Nama Chakravarti. His wife, Jagannath Mishra's wife, Srimati Sachi Devi, was a chaste woman, highly devoted to her husband. Tarapatni Sachinama Patibrata Sati Jarapita Nilambara Nama Chakravarti. So Jagannath Mishra, his wife, Srimati Sachi Devi, was a chaste woman highly devoted to her husband. Sachi Devi's father's name was Nilambar, and his surname was Chakravarti. Srila Bhaktisiddhanta Saraswati Thakur writes in his Anubhashya in the Gaur Ganadesh Deepika, it is mentioned that Nilambar Chakravarti was formerly Gargamuni. Some of the family descendants of Nilambar Chakravarti still live in the village of the name Magdoba in the district of Faridpur in Bangladesh. His nephew was Jagannath Chakravarti, also known as Mamu Thakur, who became a disciple of Pandita Goswami. I believe Pandita Goswami is the name for Gadadhar Pandit, who became a disciple of Pandita Goswami and stayed at Jagannath Puri as the priest of Tota Gopinath. Nilambar Chakravarti, that makes sense also, a disciple of Pandita Goswami, and stayed at Jagannath Puri as the priest of Tota Gopinath. That's nephew of Jagannath Chakravarti. because Gadadhar Pandit used to live at Tota Gopinath temple. Nilambar Chakravarti lived at Navadip in the neighborhood of Belakpukuria. This fact is mentioned in the book Prema Vilas. Because he lived near the house of the Qazi was also considered one of the maternal uncles of Lord Chaitanya Mahaprabhu. The Qazi used to address Nilambar Chakravarti as Kaka, or uncle. One cannot separate the residence of the Qazi from Vamanapukur because the tomb of the Qazi is still existing there. Formerly, the place was known as Pukuria, and now it is called Vamanapukur. This has been ascertained by archaeological evidence. Radhadeshi Janmila Thakur Nityananda Gangadas Pandita Gupta Murari Mukunda. In Radhadesh, the part of Bengal where the Ganges is not visible, Nityananda Prabhu, Gangadas Pandit, Murari Gupta, and Mukunda took birth. So the places where Govinda Maharaj and Srila Sridhar Maharaj appeared, that's also considered within Radhadesh. It says the Radhadesh, the part of Bengal where the Ganges is not visible. That means actually, let's see, I believe that's on the western side of the Ganges. Here, Radhadesh refers to the village of the name Ekachakra in the district of Birbhum next to Burdwan. Okay. This goes on for some pages, but I'm skipping it. Asankhya Bhaktera Koraila Avatar, Seshe Avatirna Hoila Brajendra Kumar, Lord Krishna, Brajendra Kumar, first caused countless devotees to appear, and at last he appeared himself. Prabhura Avirbhav Purve Jata Vaishnavagan Advaita Char Jarastane Korana Gaman. Before the appearance of Lord Chaitanya Mahaprabhu, all the devotees of Navadip used to gather in the house of Advaita Charya. Gita Bhagavat Kohe Acharya Gosai Gyanakar Karma Nindi Kore Bhakti Rabadai. In these meetings of the Vaishnavas, Advaita Charya used to recite the Bhagavad Gita and Srimad Bhagavatam, decrying the path of philosophical speculation and fruitive activity, and establishing the super excellence of devotional service. So he spoke about Bhakti Yoga, and not Jnana Yoga or Karma Yoga, or not, I should say even more, not Jnana and Karma, not mundane activities, and not just accumulation of knowledge to become a Jnani or so-called wise man. Sarva Shastre Kohe Krishna Bhaktira Vyakyan Jnana Yoga Tapadharma Nahi Manayan. In all the revealed scriptures of Vedic culture, devotional service to Lord Krishna is explained throughout. Therefore, devotees of Lord Krishna do not recognize the processes of philosophical speculation, jnana, mystic yoga, unnecessary austerity, tapasya, and so-called religious rituals. Dharma, okay. They do not accept any process but devotional service. In all the revealed scriptures of Vedic culture, devotional service to Lord Krishna is explained throughout. Therefore, devotees of Lord Krishna do not recognize the processes of philosophical speculation, mystic yoga, unnecessary austerity, and so-called religious rituals. They do not accept any process but devotional service. Our Krishna conscious movement follows this principle. We do not recognize any method for spiritual realization other than Krishna consciousness, devotional service. Sometimes we are criticized by groups following Gyan, Yoga, Tapas, or Dharma, but fortunately, we are unable to make any compromises with them. We simply stand on the platform of devotional service and preach the same principles all over the world. Tara Sange Ananda Kore Vaishnaveragan Krishna Kata, Krishna Puja, Nama Sankirtan. In the house of Advaita Acharya, all the Vaishnavas took pleasure in always talking of Krishna, always worshipping Krishna, and always chanting the Hare Krishna Maha Mantra. Kintu Sarvalok Deke Krishna Bahirmukh Vishayeni Magnalok Deke Payaduk. But Sri Advaita Acharya felt pain to see all the people without Krishna consciousness simply merging in material sense enjoyment. Lokara nishtare hetu korana chintan kemate e sab loker hoy betaran. Seeing the condition of the world, he began to think seriously of how all these people could be delivered from the clutches of Maya. Krishna Avatari Koran Bhakti Rabhistar Tabita Sakala Loker Hoibinishtar. Srila Advaita Acharya Prabhu thought, if Krishna himself appears in order to distribute the cult of devotional service, then only will liberation be possible for all people. Just as a condemned person can be relieved by a special favor of the chief executive head, the president that's pardoned, the president or king, by a special favor of the chief executive head, the president or king, so the conditioned people of the Kali Yuga can be delivered only by the Supreme Personality of Godhead himself or a person especially empowered for this purpose. Srila Advaita Acharya Prabhu desired that the Supreme Personality of Godhead advent himself to deliver the fallen souls of this age. Let me just, okay. So, let's see. Since you came late, we'll read a few more verses. Krishna Vatarite Acharya Pratigya Koreya Krishna Puja Kore Tulasi Ganga Jal Diya. With this consideration, Advaita Acharya Prabhu, promising to cause Lord Krishna to descend, began to worship the Supreme Personality of God, Krishna, with tulsi leaves and water of the Ganges. Tulsi leaves and Ganges water, if possible, a little pulp of sandalwood, is sufficient paraphernalia to worship the Supreme Personality of Godhead. The Lord says in the Bhagavad Gita, Patram Pushpam Phalam Toyam Yome Bhaktya Prayachati Taraham Bhakti Uparitam Ashnami Prayatat Manaha. If one offers me with love and devotion a leaf, a flower, a fruit, or water, I will accept it. Following this principle, Advaita Prabhu pleased the Supreme Personality of Godhead with tulsi leaves and with water of the Ganges. So I think it's good you offer tulsi manjari and the two leaves below the Tulsi Manjari. And that's good. And that's what I've heard. Krishnera abana kore sangana hunkare akrishtoila Brajendra Kumar. By loud cries, Advaita Acharya invited Krishna to appear, and this repeated invitation attracted Lord Krishna to descend. Jagannath Mishra Patni Sachira Udare Ashtakanya Krame Hoila Janmi Mare. Before the birth of Lord Chaitanya Mahaprabhu, 8 daughters took birth one after another from the womb of Sachimata, the wife of Jagannath Mishra. But just after their birth, they all died. So 8 daughters, they all died right after birth. This is divine consideration, because normally if people had 8 daughters who all died one after another, they'd probably figure they wouldn't proceed. But just after their birth, all 8 daughters died. Apatya Vira Hemisha Duke Hoilaman Putra Lage Adi-lila Vishnura Charan. Jagannath Mishra was very unhappy at the death of his children one after another. Therefore, desiring a son, he worshipped the lotus feet of Lord Vishnu. Tabi Putra Janma-lila, Tabi Putra Janamila Vishwarupanam Mahagunavan Teho Baladevadam. After this, Jagannath Mishra got a son of the name Vishwarup, who was most powerful and highly qualified because he was an incarnation of Baladev. So we know there's Krishna, Baladev, and then there's also the one daughter who was born, Yogamaya. After this, Jagannath Mishra got a son of the name Vishwarup, who was most powerful and highly qualified because he was an incarnation of Baladev. Jagannath Mishra, no. I'm talking about Krishna. Baladev and Krishna, they were born. Okay. This is somehow or other. Strike that from the record. That was a mistake. Tabi Putra Janmila Vishwarupanam Mahagunavan Teho Baladevadam. After this, Jagannath Mishra got a son of the name Vishwarup, who was most powerful and highly qualified because he was an incarnation of Baladev. Vishwarup was the elder brother of Gaurahari, Lord Sri Chaitanya Mahaprabhu. When arrangements were being made for the marriage of Vishwarup, he took sannyas and left home. He took the sannyas name of Shankararanya. In 1435, Shakabda era, 1509 AD, he disappeared in Pandharpur in the district of Sholapur. As an incarnation of Shankarshan, he is both the ingredient and immediate cause of the creation of this material world. He is non-different from Sri Chaitanya Mahaprabhu, for the Amsha and the Amshi, or the part and the whole, are not different. As an incarnation of Shankarshan, Vishwarup belongs to the quadruple manifestation of Chaturvyuha in the Gaurachandrodoya. It is said that Vishwarup, after his so-called demise, remained mixed within Sri Nityananda Prabhu. So Vishwarup then became part of Nityananda Prabhu. Baladeva Prakash Parama Vyomi Sankarshan Teho Vishwara Upadana Nimitta Karan. The expansion of Baladev, known as Shankarshan, in the spiritual world is the ingredient and immediate cause of this material cosmic manifestation. Tahabai Vishvekichu Nahideki Ar Ateva Vishwarup Nama Jai Tahar. The gigantic universal form is called the Vishwarup incarnation of Mahashankarshan. Thus we do not find anything within this cosmic manifestation except the Lord himself. Nahitats Chitram Bhagavati Iyanante Jagad Ishvare Otam protam idam yasmin tantu shvanga yata pataha. As the threads in a cloth spread both lengthwise and breadthwise, as the Supreme Personality of God exists directly and indirectly within everything we see in this, as the threads in a cloth spread both lengthwise and breadthwise, length and breadth, so the Supreme Personality of Godhead exists directly and indirectly within everything we see in this cosmic manifestation. This is not very wonderful for him. Ateva Prabhutare Bole Borabai Krishna Balarama Due Chaitanya Nitai. Borabai means my elder brother. Because Mahashankarshan is the ingredient and efficient cause of the cosmic manifestation, he is present in every detail of it. Lord Chaitanya therefore called him his Borabai, his elder brother. The two brothers are known as Krishna and Balaram in the spiritual world, but at the present moment they are Chaitanya and Nitai. Therefore, the conclusion is that Nityananda Prabhu is the original Shankarshan Baladev. Putrabhaya Dampati Hoila Nanditaman Visheshe Sevana Kore Govinda Charan. The husband and wife, Jagannath Mishra and Sachi Mata, having gotten Vishwarup as their son, were very pleased within their minds. Because of their pleasure, they specifically began to serve the lotus feet of Govinda. There is a common saying in India that everyone goes to worship the Supreme Personality of Godhead when he is in distress. But when a person is in an opulent position, he forgets God. In the Bhagavad Gita, this is confirmed. Chaturvida bhajante mam jana sukritino arjuna. Chaturvida bhajante mam jana sukritino arjuna. Arta jigyasur artarti gyanicha bharatar shava. If backed by pious activities in the past, four kinds of men, namely those who are distressed, those in need of money, those searching after knowledge, and those who are inquisitive, become interested in devotional service. The husband and wife, Jagannath Mishra and Sachi Mata, were very unhappy because their 8 daughters had passed away. Now, when they got Vishwarup as their son, certainly they became extremely happy. They knew that it was by the grace of the Lord that they were endowed with such happiness and opulence. Therefore, instead of forgetting the Lord, they became more and more adherent in rendering service to the lotus feet of Govinda. When a common man becomes opulent, he forgets God. But the more opulent a devotee becomes by the grace of the Lord, the more he becomes attached to the service of the Lord. Okay, Chodashata Chaya Shake Sesha Maga Mase Jagannath Sachira Dehe Krishnara Prema Prabeshe Shata Shata Chaya Shake Shesha Magu Mashe Jagannath Sachira Dehi Krishnara Praveshe. In the month of January, in the year 1406 of the Shaka era, AD 1485, Lord Krishna entered the bodies of both Jagannath Mishra and Sachi. So this is where I'm going to stop, and then tomorrow we'll hear all about Mahaprabhu's divine appearance, and we'll sing the songs which are sung on Gaur Purnima, because they're from this chapter, from the verse, I think it's 80, we're on verse 80, 81, but from verse 89, they sing all these verses on Gaur Purnima. Chodashata Shata Shake Masaje Falgun Purnamashera Sanjakale Hoile Shubhakan Simarate Simalagna Uchagrahadgan Shadvarga Shad Ashtavarga Sarvasulakan. I'll read those tomorrow. So here we are on this chapter, the Advent of Lord Sri Chaitanya Mahaprabhu. All right, now we're going to sing Hari Haraya. Or maybe since this is the last, where today is Purnima. If you want to go, anyone wants to go to the celebration the appearance of Mahaprabhu in San Jose at the address. What is the address?
269 East St. James Street.
269 East St. James Street. We'll have a nice celebration. This is called Rasa Purnima. This is the day the deity took possession of that 269 East St. James Street in San Jose, and our program will begin there at 6 o'clock in the evening. So people are invited if they would like to attend. And certainly we will be there, God willing. Now we're going to sing we're going to sing first, before we sing Hari Harai, we're going to sing Jaya Radhe Jaya Krishna. Okay? And that's on page 230. 230, and then after that we'll sing Hari Harai. Okay, 230. Okay. What's the tune? Let me think of a tune. For different tunes. Let's see. Jaya Radhe Jaya Krishna Jaya Vrindavan. Jaya Radhe Jaya Krishna Jaya Vrindavan. Jaya Radhe Jaya Krishna Jaya Vrindavan. Shri Govinda Gopinatha Marana Mohan. Shri Govinda Gopinatha Marana Mohan. Shamakunda Radha Kunda Giri Govardhan. Shamakunda Radha Kunda Giri Govardhan. Kalindi Jamuna Jaya Jaya Mahavan. Kalindi Jamuna Jaya Jaya Mahavan. Keshigata Vamshivata Dwara Shakanan. Keshigata Vamshivata Dwara Shakanan. Jaha Sab Lila Koilo Shri Nandanandan. Jaha Sab Lila Koilo Shri Nandanandan. Shri Nanda Jashoda Jaya Jaya Gopagan. Shri Nanda Jashoda Jaya Jaya Gopagan. Shri Ramadi Jaya Jaya Denu Vatsagan. Shri Ramadi Jaya Jaya Denu Vatsagan. Jaya Vishabhanu Jaya Kirtida Sundari. Jaya Vishabhanu Jaya Kirtida Sundari. Jaya Purnamasi Jaya Abhiranagari. Jaya Purnamasi Jaya Abhiranagari. Jaya Jaya Gopishwara Vrindavanam Maj. Jaya Jaya Gopishwara Vrindavanam Maj. Jaya Jaya Krishna Saka Madhudvijaraj. Jaya Jaya Krishna Saka Madhudvijaraj. Jaya Rama Gata Jaya Rohini Nandan. Jaya Rama Gata Jaya Rohini Nandan. Jaya Jaya Vrindavana Basi Jata Jan. Jaya Jaya Vrindavana Basi Jata Jan. Jaya Dvija Patni Jaya Naga Kanyagan. Jaya Dvija Patni Jaya Naga Kanyagan. Bhakti Teja Hara Pailo Govinda Charan. Bhakti Teja Hara Pailo Govinda Charan. Shimra Samandala Jaya Jaya Radha Sham. Shri Rasa Mandala Jaya Jaya Radha Sham. Jaya Jaya Rasa Lila Sarva Manoram. Jaya Jaya Rasa Lila Sarva Manoram. Jaya Jaya Ujjvala Rasa Sarva Rasa Sar. Jaya Jaya Ujjvala Rasa Sarva Rasa Sar. Parakiya Bhave Jaha Bhajate Prachar. Parakiya Bhave Jaha Bhajate Prachar. Sri Janava Pada Padma Kori Asmaran. Sri Janava Pada Padma Kori Asmaran. Dina Krishna Dasa Kohe Nama Sankirtan. Krishna Dasa Kohe Nama Sankirtan. Sri Janava Pada Padma Kori Asmaran. Sri Janava Pada Padma Kori Asmaran. Dina Krishna Dasa Kohe Nama Sankirtan. Dina Krishna Dasa Kohe Nama Sankirtan. Jaya Radhe Jaya Krishna Jaya Vrindavan. Jaya Radhe Jaya Krishna Hari Haraya Nama Krishna Jaravaya Nama. Hari Haraya Nama Krishna Jaravaya Nama. Jaravaya Madhavaya Keshavaya Nama. Jaravaya Madhavaya Keshavaya Nama. Gopal Govinda Ram Shri Madhusudan. Gopal Govinda Ram Shri Madhusudan. Giridhari Gopinatha Madana Mohan. Giridhari Gopinatha Madana Mohan. Sri Chaitanya Nityananda Sri Advaita Chandra. Sri Chaitanya Nityananda Sri Advaita Chandra. Gadadhara Shiva Sadi Gaura Bhaktivedanta. Gadadhara Shiva Sadi Gaura Bhaktivedanta. Jai Rupa Sanatan Bhatta Raghunath. Jai Rupa Sanatan Bhatta Raghunath. Shri Jiva Gopala Bhatta Dasa Raghunath. Shri Jiva Gopala Bhatta Dasa Raghunath. H.I. Gosai Kori Charana Bandhan. H.I. Gosai Kori Charana Bandhan. Jaite Vignana Shamista Puran. Jaite Vignana Shamista Puran. H.I. Gosai Jarmui Taranas. H.I. Gosai Jarmui Taranas. Dasama Pada Renu Mora Panchagas. Dasama Pada Renu Mora Panchagas. Tader Charana Sevi Bhatta Sanibas. Tader Charana Sevi Bhatta Sanibas. Janame More Avilas. Janame More Avilas. H.I. Gosai Jabe Bhaje Koilabas. H.I. Gosai Jabe Bhaje Koilabas. Radha Krishna Nitya Lila Korila Prakash. Radha Krishna Nitya Lila Korila Prakash. Anande Bolo Hari Bhaja Vrindavan. Anande Bolo Hari Bhaja Vrindavan. Shri Guru Vaishnava Pade Majai Aman. Shri Guru Vaishnava Pade Himajai Aman. Shri Guru Vaishnava Pad Padma Koryas. Shri Guru Vaishnava Pad Padma Koryas. Harinam Sankirtana ko hai Narkamam Das. Harinam Sankirtana ko hai Narkamam Das. Shri Guru Vaishnava Pad Padma Koryas. Guru Vaishnava Pad Padma Koryas. Harinam Sankirtana ko hai Narottam Das. Harinam Kirtana ko hai Narottam Das. Hare Krishna, Krishna Krishna, Hare Hare, Hare Krishna, Krishna Krishna, Hare Hare, Hare Rama, Rama Rama, Hare Hare, Hare Rama, Rama Rama, Hare Hare, Hare Krishna, Krishna Krishna, Hare Hare, Hare Krishna, Krishna Krishna, Hare Hare, Hare Rama, Rama Rama, Hare Hare, Hare Rama, Rama Rama, Hare Hare, Krishna Krishna, Hare Hare, Hare Hare, Hare Krishna, Krishna Krishna, Hare Hare, Hare Krishna, Krishna Krishna, Hare Hare, Rama Rama, Hare Hare, Rama Rama, Hare Hare, Hare Rama, Rama Rama, Hare Hare, Hare Rama, Rama Rama, Hare Hare, Krishna Krishna, Hare Hare, Krishna Krishna, Hare Hare, Rama Rama, Hare Hare, Rama Rama, Hare Hare, Hare Krishna, Krishna Krishna, Hare Hare, Hare Krishna, Krishna Krishna, Hare Hare, Hare Rama, Rama Rama, Hare Hare, Hare Rama, Rama Rama, Hare Hare, Hare Krishna, Krishna Krishna, Hare Hare, Hare Krishna, Krishna Krishna, Hare Hare, Hare Rama, Rama Rama, Hare Hare, Hare Rama, Rama Rama, Hare Hare, Hare Krishna, Krishna Krishna, Hare Hare, Hare Krishna, Krishna Krishna, Hare Hare, Hare Rama, Rama Rama, Hare Hare, Hare Rama, Rama Rama, Hare Krishna, Krishna Krishna, Hare Hare, Hare Krishna, Krishna Krishna, Hare Hare, Hare Rama, Rama Rama, Hare Hare, Hare Rama, Rama Rama, Hare Hare, Hare Krishna, Krishna Krishna, Hare Hare, Hare Krishna, Krishna Krishna, Hare Hare, Hare Rama, Rama Rama, Hare Hare, Hare Rama, Rama Rama, Nitai Gora Hari Bo, Hari Bo, Haribo, Haribo, Nitai Gaur Haribo, 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 Nitai Gaur Haribo, 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 Jai Saparikara Shishi Guru Guranga Gandharvika Giridhari Ju Ki Jai. Tadiya Shri Ras Purnima Ki Jai. Jai Divine arrival of Shri Gauranga Sundar in San Jose, Sri Chaitanya Saraswat Seva Ki Jai. Jai Om Vishnu Pan Paramansa Paramajakacharya Tara Sada Shri Srimad Srila Bhakti Nirmawacharya Maharaj Ki Jai. Jai Om Vishnu Pan Paramansa Paramajakacharya Tara Sada Shri Srimad Srila Bhakti Sundar Govinda Dev Goswami Maharaj Ki Jai. Jai Om Vishnu Pan Paramansa Paramajakacharya Tara Sada Shri Srimad Srila Bhakti Rakshridhar Dev Goswami Maharaj Ki Jai. Jai Bhagavan Srila Bhakti Siddhanta Saraswati Goswami Thakur Ki Jai. Jai Om Vishnupad Srila Gaur Kishore Das Babaji Maharaj Ki Jai. Jai Om Vishnupad Srila Satchidananda Bhaktivedanta Thakur Ki Jai. Jai Om Vishnupad Vaishnava Sarvabhauma Srila Jagannath Das Babaji Maharaj Ki Jai. Rupanuga Guru Bharga Ki Jai. Namachari Srila Haridas Thakur Ki Jai. Shri Rupa Sanatana Bhatta Raghunath Shri Jiva Gopal Bhatta Das Raghunath Shad Goswami Prabhu Ki Jai. Prem Sigo Shri Krishna Chaitanya Prabhu Nityananda Shri Advaita Gadadhar Shivasri Shri Gaura Bhakta Vrinda Ki Jai. Vishvavaranya Srila Bhaktivedanta Swami Maharaj Prabhupada Ki Jai. Jai Srila Bhakti Kushamashra Maharaj Ki Jai. Jai Srila Bhakti Tilak Niriha Maharaj Ki Jai. Ananta Koti Vaishnava Vrinda Ki Jai. Shri Namadeep Dham Ki Jai. Shri Mayapur Ki Jai. Saparshada Shri Nityananda Prabhu Ki Jai. Saparshada Shriman Mahaprabhu Ki Jai. Shri Kuladweep Ki Jai. Sri Chaitanya Saraswat Mat Ki Jai. Soquel Sri Chaitanya Saraswat Sevashram Ki Jai. Ganga Devi Ki Jai. Tulasi Maharani Ki Jai. Bhakti Devi Ki Jai. Shri Vrindavan Dham Ki Jai. Shri Shri Radha Krishna Gopi Govardhan Shyam Kuna Radha Kunda Kalindi Yamuna Ju Ki Jai. Shri Purushottam Adam Ki Jai. Baladev Subhadra Jagannath Ju Ki Jai. Bhakti Vigna Vinashaya Shina Shingadev Ki Jai. Bhakta Prabhata Shri Prahlad Maharaj Ki Jai. Samaveda Bhakta Vrinda Ki Jai. Shri Harinam Sankirtan Ki Jai. All the assembled devotees Ki Jai. Gaur Premanande Hari Hari Bo.
So Bhakti Pavan Janardan Maharaj Ki Jai.
Can you